And welcome, folks, to another edition of Steady Dropping Dimes. It is our new show dedicated to talking all sports, all sports topics, the hottest topics in sports and culture with real talk, real opinions, real views from real
Yes.
dudes. Because, I never forget when I got in radio, the guy who hired me said, you got to come up with a character. And you and your co-host, y'all got to have, differing opinions, even if you agree, you got to make up different opinions. Like, nah, man, I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm a real dude, got to have my real views. And that's what I want to do on this show with my guys, with my boys here on Steady Dropping Dimes, brought to you by Destination Ann Arbor. Destination Ann Arbor promoting all great things to see and do in Washtenaw County. It seems fitting that two dudes I got close to during their time in Ann Arbor and Washtenaw County are my co-hosts on this show, starting off, of course, with the guy who played quarterback at the University of Michigan. You see him, Emmy Award winning Fox college football analyst, Devin Gardner. How you
Hey,
doing, D?
you already speaking straight facts. I mean, I can't argue with any of those things.
Is your mic plugged in today, DG?
My mic? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the
Or,
headset.
or is it unplugged again today?
No, my mic always sees you wrong. My mic is always plugged in. I just usually got my headphones, but I decided against my headphones today.
Okay.
That aren't usually plugged in anyway.
All right. And then another one of my guys. I remember when he came on his recruiting visit to the University of Michigan. And they wound up getting, I admit, I was skeptical that you were going to come, Dane. I was like, man, they're not going to get this dude. He's a McDonald's All-American. They're not going to get him. And you eventually came to the University of Michigan anyway. So, Daniel, how are you today?
Doing good, doing good. How about yourself? Good to see
Doing
you guys.
great, man. Doing great, especially after an exciting week in college football. Of course,
Yeah.
we watch college football across the country. My wife picked me up from the game, from the Michigan game, which I cover, obviously. And she was watching Colorado State. Man, I mean, we got to get into that later. Like, she watches Michigan.
Right,
She watches the Lions, but it's not like she gets into football outside of the teams that, are local. Nah,
right.
man, she's all about the Colorado Buffaloes now. It's the craziest thing known to man. But like I said, we'll get into the phenomenon that is the Buffaloes. I got to ask you guys about a topic that we talked about last week, and that is the ongoing saga at Michigan State University, right? Like I said, we get into all sports. We get into all the hottest topics, and this is the hottest topic in college football right now because we knew he was going to get fired, but they sent him a letter of termination earlier this week. He shot back immediately saying, man, yeah, I can't wait basically to do battle. I can't wait to have discovery and look into all your emails, the administration and the trustees and all of that. But I found myself wondering if the people in power at Michigan State really thought this through. Why do I say that? Because they said they didn't have any information, fella. They didn't have the information, the details of what happened between Mel Tucker and Brenda Tracy before it went public. And now, come to find out, they had access to all that information, as well we thought, during the spring and summer months. Mel Tucker said as much in his letter. He said, man, I told y'all knew the deal in March. What's different? The only difference is public. You would think they would have waited until the end of the hearing that's scheduled in October to fire him then. They didn't wait. So why are you firing him now is the question. Seems like it's going to help his case. But here's the other part they didn't think through. When you fire a coach, the players on the team have an immediate 30-day window to enter the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
In addition, any player who hasn't played in 4 games during the season can maintain that the ability to redshirt. So if you haven't redshirted in your career, so let you know, Devin played as a freshman. You didn't redshirt in your career, and you haven't played 4 games, you can just say, okay, well, I'm sitting out. I'm sitting out the rest of the season. I'm going to enter the transfer portal. I'm going to go visit other schools. If you were in that position, Devin and Dan, you both were college football athletes, right? Your coach gets fired. You've played 3 games, 4th game coming up.
Mhm.
You want to look around. Would you sit out the rest of the season and basically go on official visits the rest of the year? Go on the rest of the official visits during the fall to kind of weigh your options. What would you do, Devin Gardner?
So I think you gotta think about a couple things. I think that this has happened, but in a different way. Maybe kind of similar actually. Where what I would do is I would check to see who's leaving, right? Because if all the studs are leaving, I'm gonna be the guy getting all the balls, right? If I'm a wide receiver or whatever, right? If I'm gonna check and see who's leaving. Oh, everybody's leaving. I mean, this is Michigan State. We're gonna have some players, right? At some point, somebody wants to come and play at this university, so I can be the guy, and I would point to Allen Robinson. Remember, everybody left Penn State, right? And so I truly don't believe Allen Robinson becomes Allen Robinson if all those studs don't leave and he gets the opportunity to catch 150 balls because there ain't nobody else to throw to, right? And he becomes this, he has the catch against us and all those different things. But I think you got to kind of just look and see, like, who's leaving. So if everybody's leaving, a couple guys are staying, and I got an opportunity to be the guy at a Power 5 university, right? Because everybody that's watching those Michigan films and those Ohio State films and all those schools, guess who they'll see when I play? But I have to do my part, right? And if I believe I'm like that and I'm going to get these opportunities, I'm sticking around. But, obviously there are other alternatives, but that would be my thought process. Who's leaving? And I'm going to try to Allen Robinson this thing.
All right, so, man, that's a great, man. He still had the tattoo of Channing Stribling.
Yeah,
yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great play, but I don't know about that.
That's a little far. But what he did in that situation and making the play, but I think he made the smartest decision I don't know about the history of college football, but one of the smartest, right? Where you stick around when everybody leaves. You got McGloin. People didn't know who McGloin would be. He's a walk-on or whatever. And you are the guy. 130, 140. I'm like, this dude is catching so many balls. It was unbelievable. So I would Allen Robinson this thing for sure.
All right, so Daniel, you former college basketball standout. Again, the scenario is if you don't play beyond 4 games and you haven't redshirted, which you didn't, right? You ain't redshirt. You can maintain your eligibility. You get a transfer portal, man. It's time to go on official visit. You could do official visits all over again, man. It's season. Would you do that?
No, I'm with Devin. I'm staying. Like, for one, you have relationships built amongst that in that locker room with the guys on that team. Even though the coaches may be leaving, they've shown a commitment to wanting to bring in good coaches, right? They've been willing to pay $9.5 million a year. So they're going to bring in another good coach. Or another coach that can, go out and bring in other good players. And like Devin said, that I would look at it as my opportunity to elevate myself within the program, within that university, as a guy that's like, hey, we have a saying at Michigan, those who stay will be champions. That's not just for, one sport, that's for everybody, right? So, and with that, the loyalty that I have towards the people that I compete alongside of in the locker room, it would be hard for me to just jump ship like, hey, I'm going take a visit to these schools. Hey, what time you guys are practice?
What time y'all practicing?
Yeah, like that. I don't see myself jumping ship that easily. Now at the end of the season, then okay, when everybody has a chance to reevaluate what's going on, reevaluate the situation, then maybe you might give it a look. But right now, mid-season, you're in the fight. That's like, hey man, like that's, Devin, that's less bodies at practice.
And I think another thing you would have to look at is what's your standing in the program, right? Are you in the doghouse? Do you just not like being at Michigan State? And it's like, man, this is my out. Now, if that's the case, right, I don't like it here. I want to try to leave anyway, but I didn't really have a reason. Now I got a reason. I think that's an option as well. But for me personally, I try to make sure I don't put myself in bad standings in situations. So I should be good.
So let me inject a little practicality into the situation. Did y'all watch that game that they played against Washington?
Yeah, it was ugly.
Oh man, and it's not gonna get any better. I mean, they're about to lose a bunch of games, and so you say you want to see who else is leaving. Man, does it matter? I mean, when you look at their squad, I mean, Washington was scoring in like 5 plays.
Yeah.
They were scoring like in less than 2 minutes. They basically,
they do have one of the best receiving cores and quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah,
True. And they scored 35 points in the first half. And it felt like they could have scored 70 on it. They came out of break and said, we got to stop whipping on their ass. We got to stop whipping on That's what they said. We got to stop whipping on their behind, right?
Yeah.
So I'm again staying for what? Staying for who? Yeah. Do you even know that these coaches, the coaches that are there right now, do you know that those coaches are going to be there? Odds are they won't be. And so here's what you lose. Mm-hmm. You lose the ability to maintain this year of eligibility.
Yeah.
So get against that backdrop, your decision will still be the same, Devin and Daniel?
I will still wait till the end of the season. Like I said, because now I think I just saw somebody mention in the chat, now comes the NIL part of it, right? Like you have film, you've established yourself, you might have established yourself as a key player. You got a chance to go make money somewhere else. You can't, I would never tell anyone to turn down, you got a chance to go make $500-600 million somewhere else. I would never tell you to turn it down. But in the middle of the season, in the middle of the fight, I'm not getting out of the rabbit hole. Not me.
That's definitely being a good teammate.
I'm not getting out of the foxhole.
At the same time, I don't think that's being guys who decide to leave. I don't think they're being selfish, man. I think,
no, 100% not.
Yeah.
I think what me and Daniel are saying is just like the way we built. That's just not where we would go with it. You know what I mean? Because you remember, my coach was fired, right? My coach was fired. I had the opportunity to go and do my thing in a number of different places, but I never even thought of it, to be honest. I never even. I mean, I'm so arrogant. I thought, Denard, you better strap it on because I'm taking this job. You know what I mean? So I got that kind of confidence in myself, and then I see all these guys leaving, and if I got the 2020 hindsight to see what happened for Allen Robinson, I'm like, man, I might want to stick around here. Not to mention, you're gonna be heralded in that university's history forever, right? You the guy that stuck around. You the guy that when everything got bad, that new coach could lean on you. He came and rather, because you got to know, everybody's not going to play professional football, but if you can tie yourself to a university forever and the fan base and everything like that by making a selfless move, because the move to leave and to save that retro year, it's some people say it was a selfish move. I wouldn't say it's selfish. But to stay and essentially almost waste a year because you're going to be so bad, I would say that's selfless for sure, right? Oh, yeah. And so when you do things that are selfless like that, not only, people who see it, but the universe usually rewards you for that. So I would, and this is not, whether it's Michigan State or wherever, you know what I mean, a school in this situation, I think that there's a lot to be gained outside of just playing football. And you know me, Sam, I've always been the guy that it's not all about football, right? I work with all these kids. And that's what I try to explain to them. And that's why we can't get a lot of kids in our group. I can't take them because the parents think they're going pro. We're not here to go pro. We're here to become great men and just get real nice at football in the process.
Yeah, I hear you. And I want your opinion as guys who've been in the arena, like you said.
Yeah.
But this is going to be an interesting. This is unprecedented. It's unprecedented to see somebody fumble $80 million. I mean, I'm trying to think of somebody who's fumbled the rock as badly as Mel Tucker.
Yeah,
but I
think you got a real ground to stand on, though, Sam. Ain't no way they're gonna get away with this. They can't stand up in court, Sam. It can't, right? You can't fire a guy because he had a consensual relationship, is what he's saying, right? I have a consensual relationship with an adult, whether she, whatever, right? She deleted our segment with all that different stuff. But I think that holds up when he goes for his lawsuit of like, ain't no way y'all gonna take away $80 million. For a consensual, whether it's infidelity or whatever, that's not against the law, right? That's not something you can terminate. I mean, you can terminate me, but you got to pay my money.
Well, but he signed a contract that had a moral turpitude clause in it. And who determines the violation of who determines what moral turpitude is? Michigan State determines what it is. So you saw in their letter, they laid out a lot of things, including it was an extramarital affair, which I thought was gratuitous. Like, come on, man, if that's the standard for moral turpitude, you're gonna be firing a lot of folks.
Right.
If it's extramarital.
That's what I'm saying. What president are you gonna set, right?
But
I'm not going to Michigan State to coach.
Yeah, but here's here's the issue that I don't think they thought through. His best argument is everything that you listed in this termination letter, everything
You knew
you
before.
listed, you knew in March.
Yeah.
There's nothing different.
Don't look good.
You knew it in March, and you let me coach games anyway. The only thing
Go
that's
through
different,
camp,
right? I was in
get to
camp,
media day.
right? All that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm in the game. Tom Izzo is on TV talking about what a great guy I am. You can't tell me Izzo didn't know, right?
Yeah,
Can't
you
tell
knew
me
it
Izzo
all.
didn't have a clue. He had no clue. Come on, man.
An
He's on
inkling.
TV talking about he's a great dude. Great. We love Mel around here, right? So
Yeah.
nothing changed. The only thing that changed
Public
was
perception.
that it went public. And who leaked it? Like, you guys are investigating yourselves about who leaked it, right? So that's not my fault that you can't keep it tight.
Yeah.
That's on you. And you firing me because you can't keep it tight? Because you put it out there to be embarrassed?
Mhm.
That's his best argument. He
Yeah.
can't say that, oh, I didn't violate the moral turpitude clause. He has no say in what that
And
clause
who is his lawyer? Who is his lawyer to do his contract? Because we're gonna have to get some finer words in this contract.
Yeah.
Ain't no, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Well, you
Moral
don't get to, hold on now.
turpitude.
We gotta have some more concrete things of like, hey, do this, and this. Because at any time, if he run a red light or he speed, they can say, man, you embarrassed the program.
Yes.
That's morally wrong.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Yes.
he got to do a
Yes,
better
they
job
can.
with his contract as well. But I think you're right. That's what that's his best argument for sure.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out, especially because he's made it clear. I'm fighting this.
But he's not
Well,
fighting. He's
well,
not fighting
what
the
else did he do?
coaching end, right? He's just fighting for a bigger settlement, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no way they can put the toothpaste back in the tube and put him back on the side. Like, so at the end of the day, the university still gets what we think they ultimately wanted in the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a different person on the sidelines.
But they're
different
gonna have to
person
come
on
on
the
some of that
sideline.
cheese.
See, but they're trying to get out of it without paying him anything. And I just, talking to lawyers about it, the more lawyers I talk to, the more I think he's gonna get paid. He won't get 80 million, but he's not
60's
walking
fine.
away with zero.
Yeah.
60's fine, 50's fine, 40's fine. But y'all ain't gonna take my whole 80. Come on, man. I take the 40. All right. I deserve it. I take the 40. But y'all not walking away with this whole 80. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, so let's move on. It was a week in college football. Michigan played a tight game. Texas and Wyoming were 10-10 heading into the fourth quarter. You had Florida State was in a dogfight, right? They had the
It was a weird week.
Yeah, beat, I think it was 31-29 in that game. Bama was down. You had Georgia down to a South Carolina team that was, man, they got bum rushed by North Carolina, 9 sacks. It was just stuff like that going on all around college football.
Yeah.
As crazy as it was, the story of the weekend, the story in college football, fellas, the Colorado Buffaloes. It's insane. I mean, a measure for me is, like I said at the beginning of the show, my wife picked me up and she's sitting on her phone. We can't even pull off until commercial because she's watching Colorado State on her phone at midnight. And I'm like, are you serious? This can't be real. Like, I know you love football. You love Michigan football and you love the Lions. As sad as that is, that's my fault. But Colorado, you this invested in Colorado, and fellas, it's like that across the country. People who don't watch college football are watching Colorado, and it makes me ask the question, have we seen a phenomenon like this in college football before, Devin Gardner?
I don't think so. I think we saw Muhammad Ali, and that was it. Because you tune in to see him lose or to see him win, right? You tune in to support. You seen or Floyd Mayweather, right? That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
One of those individual athletes that kind of is so polarizing in so many different ways that there's no way there's a middle ground, right? Either you hate them or you love them, but either way, you're gonna pay that money. You're gonna watch. You're gonna hope to see them lose, or you're gonna hope to be able to put your finger in people's face and say, "I was right" because they did win. So. I mean, it's an amazing thing to see, and the ability of Prime, because everybody looks at him as this figure, right, and this kind of star, right? He's not really a coach. He just hired good coaches around him. Man, he coaching his butt off, man. He is coaching his butt off, and in that game there were so many opportunities for it to go wrong, and he fixed it. And my favorite part of the game is him taking the ball in overtime. Everybody knows in college football you do not take the ball in overtime, right? Because it just doesn't make sense, right? You take the ball, you do what you do, and the other team gets to see what you did and match it or beat you or whatever. You know, we will always much rather give them the ball first so you can see what you got to match. And his reasoning behind it goes along. He ain't just all talk. I wanted my son to have the ball and put the pressure on them, period. Like, that is amazing because you just don't see that. You will never see a coach do that in overtime. I think that has to be the first time unless somebody made a mistake at the coin toss.
Mm-hmm. And it shows the difference in mentality in the coaches, right? Like you said, Deion is playing to win. He's playing for keeps. Yeah. The other coach, you tie the game, you get the game tied touchdown, you're on the road. Why don't you go for two? Mm-hmm. Why don't you go for two?
And then instead of going for it on fourth, you punt the ball.
I'm sorry, go ahead. In basketball, you're down 2 on the road. Hey, we're drawing up a play to get a 3 because we don't want to go into overtime, play extra time in other teams' building, right?
Especially when you're not supposed to win.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Especially when you're not supposed to win.
Yeah. Guy said, AK said, this reminds me of Insanity, but Prime isn't going to fizzle away like Jeremy Lin. The difference is Prime, I mean, Deion Sanders coming into the fold is larger than life. Like Jeremy Lin was like some dude. I mean, no disrespect, but he was some dude. This is Deion Sanders. You know how cold it is, how cold this dude is. Like, I hold sports grudges, right? Have my whole life, whole sport. I can remember who stole my King's hat in the 6th grade. I hold sports grudges, man. Right? Yes. And so Ben, my producer, Ben, see if you could find the video of Deion Sanders after he was drafted by Atlanta saying, man, I'm glad Detroit didn't draft me because they'd have had to put me on layaway, right? He's like, I would have gone to Detroit, right? Hated the dude. Yeah. Hated Deion Sanders. Because of that. They got Barry Sanders in that draft, by the way, because it was Troy Aikman #1, Tony Mandarich #2 out of Michigan State. Thank goodness. The Lions, he didn't fall to the Lions. He was off the board. And then they, Barry Sanders fell in their lap. I think it was Deion. It was either Deion or Derek Thomas, #4, and then the other one was #5. It was an unbelievable draft in 1989, right? And by 1990, I had a primetime poster in my room, man. I mean, this dude was so cold. He was so outstanding that all the sports grudge, all the hatred I had, I couldn't hold it no more. He just was that good, and his personality was that appealing that immediately it flipped me over into being a fan. And it just seems like that same phenomenon is going on right now with Prime to this day.
I mean, Sam, Lil Wayne brought them out, man. Come on. Lil Wayne brought them out, man. Performed he got like a show. You know what I mean? Like, what are we saying? Like, that don't happen. That hasn't happened ever, right? Like, this is unprecedented, and I just hope he keeps winning. I hope he keeps on winning, and obviously they're gonna be without Travis Hunter this week because of the cheap shot that was taken. And you want to know the coolest thing for me to witness, as a black coach, and the kind of stigma we get as a people, not just as coaches, but as a people, undisciplined, don't really know the game, just superior athletes and different things like that. And his team, not only him, but his team, they're dispelling all of that, right? Colorado State was the team that was making all the goofy plays and personal foul penalties and different things like that. That wasn't Colorado doing that, and it was super cool of them. I don't know if I would have been held back, but when Travis Hunter got hit on the sideline, that's on your sideline. So most teams are going to deal with that dude, right? Guys coming off the bench, all those different things, and not one person moved off the bench, right? And I just think that is something to be applauded because of the stigma we get as a people of rambunctious and undisciplined and all that. These first 3 weeks, or 2 or 3 weeks, or 3 weeks, Deion has had one of the most disciplined teams in America, and it's so fun to watch.
Yeah, man. I that was a dirty game, by the way.
Oh,
I mean, So many personal fouls. Personal foul
just
after
blatant.
personal foul after personal foul. Mostly, it felt like it was mostly Colorado State. They came to play. Matt Norvell was very, very close to planting his flag, man, because I was like, man, why would you do that? Why would you come out there like that? When you look back on it in retrospect, I kind of get it, because like you using Dion to elevate, to kind of amplify your brand, right? I mean, you kind of latching on a little bit, and if you beat this dude and you talk like he talked, it's gonna bring some attention your way too. So he almost got it. He just wasn't able to pull it off in the end.
Yeah, I think you're playing with fire when you're doing that with 17, 18 to 23-year-olds, right? Like both coaches, like when you're engaging in that type of rhetoric and back and forth, but before the game, it leads to a bunch of kids going out there and committing 20-something penalties between both teams, almost 30 penalties between both teams, right? One team has 16, 15, 16 penalties. So it's like you kind of have to keep the focus where it needs to be. The stuff before the game, the stuff during the game. Like it makes for great theater for us as fans, right? But as a coach, you don't want your players going in the game playing that way, or you want them to play hard and play physical. But hey, man, I know part of Colorado State coach's speech today say, "Hey, we beat ourselves," and he may be right or wrong, but when he looks at it and say we had 16, 15, 16 penalties and 5, 6, 7 personal foul penalties, however many it was, they're going to be very mad at themselves. But we know Shedeur Sanders played us. He balled out. So it was a lot more than that.
Right.
I think Norvell, even though Colorado State lost, Norvell won. It for him, not like won against Dion, right? Dion won, right? He got the glasses, everything. But for what I think Norvell was aiming to do, I think he 100% won, right? Because you don't go talking crazy and poking the bear if you don't got something with you, right? Just like how Dion came out before the season. You don't talk like that if you don't know what you got in your stables, right? So Norvell knew something, right? He knew. He said, hold on now. We can play with these boys. I got a nice receiver. My quarterbacks don't play nice. And then what he had to do was compete in the way that he competed. So now they see, okay, that's a coach, because some people don't like Dion, right? Some players don't like Dion. It's like, man, look at that guy. Dion didn't want me. I will get a chance to play Dion possibly. I'll go play for Coach Norvell because he had his boys ready to play, right? And he ain't scared of Dion. He got that same type of bravado, right? Even though he's not a Hall of Famer and an all-time great DB or whatever, he got that same bravado like, hey, man, you're not just running up on me doing nothing. I'm going to talk my talk too. So I think that he did a masterful job because his team played so well. Now, you go in there and get dragged. Now you're looking crazy, right? But his team played so well, and to Daniel's point, they probably should have won the game, right? They kind of played themselves on a lot of different opportunities to win the game, but I think he comes out of this a winner a little bit. Now, he got to go and play this way for the rest of the season, but I will be looking at Colorado State as a team to not only win the Mountain West at some point, but to have one of those Power 5 big time transfers coming and playing at Colorado State and getting an opportunity.
Yeah, man, it'll be interesting. He definitely had his dudes fired up. I think Daniel made a great point though. When you talk about college dudes, you kind of got to give them some parameters because man, that was a dirty game. That was a dirty game. And I credit to Colorado, man. They did not get outside of themselves as all the cheap shots that were being taken. It would have been very easy to respond in kind, and they didn't. So
except Shedeur poked that dude in the eyes, and I loved it. He reached inside that man's helmet. That's why you got to wear a visor. He reached inside that man's helmet and he poked him in the eyes.
Hey, so I think Ben has the Dion video that I was so mad at as a kid.
Yes.
Ben, do you have that? Where he said, "You got to put me on layaway. Glad Detroit didn't draft me." Put that up on the screen, man. We got Barry out of it though, so I'm cool. I'm cool with it. But if you have that video, throw it on the screen. In the meantime, in between time, okay, here we go. Here we go. Deion Sanders, 1990. Oh, we can't hear it though. Oh, we don't have the audio. So it's fine. But what he's saying is, I'm glad Detroit didn't draft me because they would have had to put me on layaway. Like, man, get out of here. Yeah, I hated him. I hated him, fellas. Anyway.
No, I'm an old Saints fan, so I wasn't a Deion fan growing up either. So I get it, and that's part of the allure, right? A lot with him being at Colorado, being the coach at Colorado. A lot of the people that were fans, we're all adults now, and we have kids that are coming through the cycle now. So it's like, hey, man, who doesn't like who?
Oh man, did you see
when he comes into the house? What parent wouldn't? Hey, man, that's prime. You know
man,
what I
they
mean?
just had Warren Sapp on the Rich Eisen show. So Warren Sapp so down for Deion. He said, man, I'm gonna go back, finish my degree so I could go be his defensive line coach.
That's deep. When you talking about going back to school, that's deep.
Yeah, he motivated the adults now.
Like,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
man. That's crazy. So it's a phenomenon, and you wonder. I mean, now that he's having some success, I don't think they're gonna beat Oregon. Okay, so let's put it on the line. What do you guys think is gonna happen there? I think they're Ben, look it up for me. I think they're 2 touchdown underdogs in that game.
I think it's like 3 touchdown favorites. I mean, underdogs.
Yeah, now Dan Lanning has some. All these dudes have had smoke for Deion. So they asked Dan Lanning about Colorado leaving the Pac-12, and he said, "Okay, so have they won something?" Hey, on one hand, I'm like, that's I dig it, I like it, I like, but that's not. Everybody's taking these liberties with Deion. I'm just like,
no, I don't think that's directed at Deion. No, he just got there. That's
he was.
I think that's more towards.
I don't think Deion gonna use that one because that was early. It wasn't really nothing going on. And I mean, honestly, Colorado was 1-11. I mean, it's a valid point. Yeah. It wasn't after all the all the stuff that's kind of happened. I don't think the Oregon coach is gonna be on that. I don't think I don't think he's gonna be on that.
And yeah, this is not the week to make it personal either. These next 2 weeks, these are not the weeks to make it personal. You got to stay focused and play good football. It can get ugly real fast.
Yeah, so you're right, Daniel. 21-point favorite, the Oregon Ducks. So
I bet Colorado.
I think that's too many, but it's gonna be tough for them.
Man, if they win, oh my God.
If they beat Oregon, it's gonna be some smoking. They're gonna burn Boulder down.
Don't speak that into fruition, man.
I'm telling you, man.
Don't put that atmosphere.
They are gonna lose it. You think he on every show now? Man, he gonna be on this show. We might be able to get on this show.
We'll see. So,
and everybody keeps talking about the big dogs on the lines. You said that against TCU. You said that against Nebraska. You know what I mean? So one thing I've learned in college football before we move on is that in the trenches, especially early in games, these Mountain West, MAC schools, they can compete. I watched Wisconsin, who's notorious for those big, giant offensive lines, and I'm going to maul you and run the ball down your throat. I watched them in a dogfight with Buffalo for a whole half. And the reason is because you're getting these Power 5 big transfers, right? You're getting these guys that are just coming to play, and they are big-time football players, right? The only thing is you don't have the depth, right? So when it comes to the second half, now you got issues. So I don't think that that's an issue. And when has Oregon been known for this amazing upfront, just dominant offensive line, defensive line? That's not a thing. They had some good players at specific positions, but as a whole, you don't look at Oregon. They're the finesse team. It's actually a perfect matchup. Like, styles make matchups. And I think it's the perfect matchup for Colorado. You got a finesse team versus a finesse team, and I think you should bet it. I mean, it's you win a lot of money just for.
Man, I had lost on you last week. You said pick the Jets last week. I forget. I did not forget.
Why did I pick the Jets? Because Dak can't wait to mess it up. And if my cousin, when he doing good, Sauce Gardner catch that pick, we got action, baby. We got action. Come on, Sauce.
He your cousin all the time, then. You talking about
when he doing good, he my cousin, man. Shoot.
Nah, he a bad boy.
Yeah, he is. All right. So we'll get into that NFL conversation on the other side. We need to pause and get over into the portion, as I said at the beginning of the show. This show is made possible by our great sponsor, Destination Ann Arbor. I call Destination Ann Arbor your tour guide to all things Ann Arbor, but officially promoting all the great things to see and do in Washtenaw County. And so one of the things that they're interested in is finding out, all you folks watching on the stream and all you folks watching on the replay, what are your game day traditions? Whether you coming into town for a Michigan game or an Eastern game, what are your game day traditions when you make it here to Washtenaw County? And we're going to be sharing some of those, and maybe, just maybe, we're been tossing around some different prize ideas. We're going to have our My Ann Arbor shoot, maybe getting out there with the crew. It might be one of them. We got some gift cards we're tossing around. There will be a prize. We want to see your game day traditions. You can drop them in the comments. You can drop them in the stream. It could be tailgating. It could be a place you go, a tradition, some kind of, ritual you have on game days. We want to hear about your game day traditions. You fellas have, it's hard for y'all to have game day traditions now, because Devin, you calling games.
Yeah.
Daniel, maybe when you make it up for a game, Daniel, we see what your game day tradition look like. You got any game day traditions?
Not really. I try to make it to Benny's Diner. Try to make it through the crowd at Benny's Diner, and then try to make it over to the stadium. So that's what I try to make my routine when I go come back there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if you Ann Arbor, if you know Benny's, right?
Yeah.
I ain't been to Benny's in a minute. I got to get back to Benny's.
Yeah, Benny's is pretty good.
Benny's is outstanding. Breakfast all day long for me.
Yes,
when I go to Benny's, that's what I go there for, is for the breakfast. So
yes, sir.
That's really, really, really a good one for sure. So we'll be getting out. Another thing that we're going to do is find the best burger and beer in Ann Arbor or Washtenaw County. I got to specify Washtenaw County, because when I was talking about Rolling Hills a couple of weeks ago, people in the comments was like, man, Rolling Hills is not in Ann Arbor. I know that. I know where it is. I've ridden the hill. I told you guys, and I'm going to do it. I waiting on my GoPro. I got camera equipment, but I don't have a GoPro. So I'm going to get the GoPro, and then I'm going to have Ben and the film crew. They're going to come out. You're going to see me riding that mountain bike up that hill. You're also going to see me, speaking of traditions. So, Ben, I need you to cue up this video. One of my fall traditions right here in Washtenaw County is making it over to Wired's Orchard. You guys know about Wired's Orchard? Mm-hmm. You ever been to Wired's Orchard? Okay, so when we do the My Ann Arbor shoot, we're going to have to go over to Wired's, because they don't close until the end of October. So they have their haunted field. So they have like a big Halloween themed thing that they do at Wired's Orchard. So you see it on the screen right now. Yeah. Wired's Orchard, that's outstanding. We used to love going to the orchard as a kid, but this is on another level.
What's the donuts here for?
Yeah, they have like the country store where you go in and they have all the apple pies and the cherry pies and the rhubarb pies, like any pie you want. So we always make sure that we go toward the middle to end of October and get all the pies for Thanksgiving. So that's one of the things we do. And then the cider and donut that you get over there, always outstanding donuts, outstanding cider, but the pies are on another level. And the hidden gem is their they don't call it scare night. I think it's called like what is it called? It's not Fright Night. It's not Fright Night. Night Terrors. It's called Night Terrors. That's what it is. So it's their Halloween, haunted, haunted house, haunted area, haunted amusement park deal that they have going on. And there it is right there, Night Terrors. So if you want to get like some scary time for the kids, but it's fun, Wired's is good for that as well. But they close for the season at the end of October. So again, you're making it to Ann Arbor, you're making it to, or you live in Washtenaw County, it is a hidden gem. You got to make, the kids will love it. I promise you. They got hay rides over there as well.
Damn.
Fantastic. There's a hayride right there. See, man, you see how as I talk, it's showing up on the screen.
Sam, I got a confession to make. I'm the guy. I went to Carowinds in North Carolina. They got the haunted house and stuff, kind of like Halloween weekend at Cedar Point. And I'm the guy that throws kids in front of me in the haunted house. Kids I don't even know. I had to apologize to a little girl. I said, "Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I am not the guy to be scared around other people. It's not good. I'm telling you, it's not good." I want to publicly confess, and I want to say sorry to that little girl again on this show.
On the screen. I gotta put this on the screen.
Hey Sam, something's going on.
I grabbed that little girl and I threw her in front of me. Oh my goodness. Oh man, I feel terrible. I still feel terrible.
Hey, you can't be throwing kids in front of you, Devin.
Oh man, I was like,
I don't know. That might be what we do. So as we doing the Maya and Arbor shoot, we might have to go through the night terrors and take Devin through the night terrors.
Did you just hear my story? I'm confused. Is that your idea?
One time only, D.
Man, I just want to apologize to that young lady from Charlotte, North Carolina. I did not mean it, but it's just the fear took over me, you know?
Listen, it is a fun time. So you don't have to go in the night terrors when you go to Wired's. I mean, if you just go to the country store and you want the pies and the donuts and the jelly, I mean, it's outstanding. That is a fall ritual for us to go get the pies while you can, and then we freeze them. Then we freeze the pies and bring them out for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So, I'm telling you, man, I'm letting out the secrets. I'm letting out the Washtenaw County secrets here, but that's part of the show. That's part of the show. Reason why I'm willing to share is because our friends Destination Ann Arbor gotten behind it, and they want to open up Ann Arbor and all the things that it offers to all of you. Destination Ann Arbor promoting all the great things to see and do here in Washtenaw County. Ben, if you can grab that code to put up on the screen so people can scan. There you go. There's the code. It will keep you abreast of all the great things to see and do in Ann Arbor and all the great things that Destination Ann Arbor has going on. So just check that link out, scan that barcode, and it'll take you to their portal. And like I said, to me, they're a tour guide to all things Ann Arbor and Washtenaw County.
You think they'll let me drive the tractor when we go?
No, I do not.
Hey, first of all, I don't understand why it's hay, country store, cider. Where are the boots?
What you mean?
Cowboy boots, cowgirl boots. What's going on?
Why do you associate going to the cider mill with cowboy?
I'm from Texas. Everywhere you go
Country.
somewhere like that, everybody has on boots and hats.
Oh man, it's Washtenaw County, man. I mean, we're not going to the cider mill in Dallas or wherever it is.
That's okay. We'll bring from Texas when we come. I'll bring my wife and kids, and we'll have on boots for everybody.
Hey man, go for it. Go for it. Dress as you like you want to. I just know how it'll be a great time. It's a great time over at Wired's Orchard. And their hours, I know they're closed on Mondays, and the country store is open on Tuesday. I have to bring up the times, but the being able to do the hay rides and all of that, that's not every day. So you got to go to their website to check out the schedule, the calendar and hours. As a matter of fact, I just pulled it up. So Tuesday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. They're closed on Mondays. The fair is closed on Tuesdays, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Wednesday through Sunday, the fair is open. So you can get on out, get the hay rides, and do all that kind of thing in addition to going to the country store. So take advantage while you can because they close at the end of October. All right, folks. All right, let's get back to it. And thanks to our friends at Destination Ann Arbor for making this show possible. And don't forget to drop your game day rituals in the comments. Don't forget, drop your game day rituals in the comments. And we haven't figured out what the prize is going to be yet for the one that we pick, but we'll feature a lot of them. And then the one that we choose that we think is the best, you'll get a prize. We'll let you know what that is.
I think the prize is going to be a cowboy boots, belt buckle, and matching hat from Daniel. That's what I think.
I mean, I wouldn't have thought. I know you from Texas, Daniel, but I just never pictured you in cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, man.
No, I don't. But in that environment, you have to.
I don't.
All right. So a couple things that I want to get to before we get out of here. First, on the football side of things, man, Devin, I lean on you for a lot, especially about quarterbacks. And you and I seem to be on the same page about Justin Fields. And so it was like people were trying to will him to be that guy. Like he's He's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. Somebody actually ranked him one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. This is going to be a breakout year. The Bears are going to turn the corner. Like, he's that dude. And I'm like, man, the man can't. I'm careful to not have this morph into a stereotype. Because, like, you offer a critique, and some people who have, like, not the best intent.
He doesn't blind, Sam. Stop trying to explain, man. He blind.
Right, but he can't read a defense to save his life.
You want to know what's even worse? And obviously, right, you need, I don't know. I don't like him personally, but, some people do, and I'm fine with that. They're mesmerized by his athletic ability and the fact that he can throw, but he's not a very good passer, right?
Right.
But he took it a step further, and I'm out. He said he blamed other people for why he's playing so bad. And they asked him, hey, why do you think you're, playing so slow? Whatever they asked him. And he said, yeah, maybe it's coaching. So we're blaming other people. We're the CEO, and we are blaming other people?
You sure did.
For the garbage that we're putting out there, we're blaming others? I don't like it. I don't like
that.
They
did call back-to-back screens.
I'm out on that.
So in the game, and because he threw a pick on the screen, they did call back-to-back screens, but you could criticize the coach, but this is Devin's term. You're hamstringing the dude. He does not trust you.
You don't have no more plays.
On the football.
He don't have no more plays to call. And he don't have no more plays to call. And also, just because he calls a screen, don't mean you got to throw it to the other team. What are we doing?
Right.
What are you talking about? What are we talking about? Because actually, if you really think about it, calling back-to-back screens, it's actually kind of genius because nobody thinks you're going to call 2 screens in a row, right? So, I mean, I don't like that, man. I'm all for, either he's good or he's not or whatever. But when you get on there and you really, like, out of your mouth, you blame the people that you – and because the coach ain't coming out saying how garbage you are. The coach is being cool, right? The coach is trying to protect you and saying he's working through things and all that. And you come out and just say how it's somebody else's fault that you're garbage. I don't like that.
Right. And so you can talk about the offensive line, but part of those sacks,
garbage, but
part of those sacks is he holds the football because he can't read a defense. He couldn't read a defense at Ohio State. We talked about this during the draft. They should have just remember that draft when I said, listen, if Aiden Hutchinson, if he's off the board, go get Sauce Gardner. This is when Sauce was like, they were talking about him being like number 20 pick. Nah, man, he's that dude.
Yeah.
And then they were talking about Justin Fields. Nah, you don't want Justin Fields. Just so we watched him enough. No, this man cannot read a defense. Then you get surprised when you get him to the league and he still can't read a defense. And now, to your point, and I want your comment on this, Dan, because you got to understand the team, the front office and coach that drafted him are not there. So these are new dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And Devin made a great point. Like they're not throwing you under the bus, but it's not like they're married to you yet. So it does not seem wise to me that you step out and you blaming them. They'll be here longer than you in this instance. So I think my man is taking a risk here.
Yeah, he is. He's taking a big risk. And I think with the organization, they probably still won't say anything, right? Why? If they already know that he's not the guy, why kill his trade value, right? So they probably won't say anything. They'll just let it continue to play out. He'll do whatever and then they'll move on from him, whether they trade him or let him walk in free agency. But like you said, he's not doing himself any favors by throwing people under the bus, and we can actually see you play. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know how many recruits watch this show, but I just want to say something for recruits. If you know a recruit is being recruited, it's not always good to go to those great schools with those great coordinators that know how to put you in perfect position. Because the reason why he can't read defense because he never had to. Right? You go to Ohio State, and at Ohio State, I'm just telling you, Ryan Day, for whatever his faults are, didn't be Michigan, all that. He is a masterful caller of plays and designer of plays based off of what the defense does, right? Each week, I don't know what his process is, but he knows what plays to call, when to call them, especially when you give him the look to the sideline and he gives you the play. And based off of that play, you know where to go with the ball, right? So everybody's so confused, like, why come Ohio State's quarterbacks never they can throw? We know they can throw. We know they're super talented, but why don't they ever translate to the next level? Well, there is no look to the sideline. There is no, hey, this play, you throw to this guy, right? And I know what they're going to be in on defense because I just gave you a fake count and I watched all this film all week. No, you got to do that thing yourself. You have to know. You have to have a plan, right? So the idea is at Ohio State they give you the plan. Where in the NFL, where you're a pro, they're going to give you the plan, but you got to have a little bit of your own plan too. And I don't think he's reached that point yet. And he's about to speed up his process. Right? If he was cool, took responsibility, all those different things, he should have looked at the kid in New York last year. He should have saw that and said, I probably shouldn't blame others when I'm looking like how I'm looking. I should probably just try to work through things and make sure, I get on the same page with my guys and just try to play better. But blaming others, I don't respect that kind of thing.
Yeah, Zach Wilson, he's done. Like Zach Wilson, man, you could tell by the body language. Of course, you're gonna be upset that Aaron Rodgers is out, but it's normally when the backup comes in, it's like a rallying cry, and everybody's like, "Man, Zach Wilson took," and it was like, oh.
He's deleted his Twitter. And so I said, I'm done. I gotta get off the internet.
Like, he threw one ball. He threw one ball at Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson almost started taking his shoulder pass and helping his shoulder. Like, hold on, man, the game's not over yet.
We got this dude. This is who we got. The
and he got some talent too, man. He got some talent, but I mean, it's tough.
Oh man, he overthrew Garrett Wilson. No, he overthrew Garrett Wilson on the play, and then he kind of laughed about it. He was like laughing on the sideline. Man, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Let me ask you a question, Devin. Sam, you said giving Justin Fields a game plan, right, and giving him, the information. You think part of it is that those receivers, the high quality receivers that they always have there as well, always winning and running wide open most of the time. That those receivers not going to create that type of space in the league, right?
Listen, I'm just telling you, hit it right on the head. Like you hit the nail on the head. You're playing with all the best football players, especially when they play like a Alabama or whatever, they're going to have the best football players as far as the receiving core and that by a decent margin, not a big margin, but a small margin. When they're a Big Ten or any other kind, it's a huge margin. It ain't even close. It's like you playing varsity football with Cass Tech versus Rochester's middle school team, right? You know what I mean? Like you got these great players, not to mention you have the plan, not to mention your coach is calling outstanding plays, putting you in position to win. So you never truly have to. All you can do is just go play. Now, if everybody could just go play, it'll be a tough thing getting in that league, man, because people are so talented, right? And that's the whole part of it. To being a pro, you have to be able to think and also play fluidly, right? And so the whole thing is he's playing slow. He's playing like a robot. He's not making quick decisions. And it's just like he don't know what decision to make. That's why he not making quick. Yeah, he made quick decisions at Ohio State because he knows exactly where to make them, right? You don't know where to make them. How you going to make quick decisions? So I just think that he can't be blaming people, man. We are watching you play for 2 years. It's the third year. We watching you play, run around, and act crazy. You cannot be doing that. You can't.
Yeah. Daniel said, "Hey, but we see you. Like we see you play, man."
How you gonna play somebody else when we can see you? Dang.
Right. Okay. So we need to segue. We need to get over to this. Will LeBron James get the Redeem Team 2 together? All right. Will he get the band together? Because it's needed, right? We need as a country for the best players in the NBA to come together to give them a chance. Because Daniel, man, I called them the B team, right? The B team used to be able to go and win. So first it was the college guys. College guys were winning. And then when the college guys stopped winning, they went and got the dream team. But the dream team was like the apex. After the dream team, you started having like the A- team, the B team, the B+ team, and you're still getting it done. Now, all these other countries got like 5-6 NBA players on them, with the game being international. So the FIBA, the FIBA tournament,
the World Cup,
they didn't even medal. Like, I mean, forget, you play, it's the gold medal round and you lose the game and you're silver, or even a bronze. You don't even get to the medal round, and it's the United States in basketball. I mean, the B team is not going to cut it anymore.
No. Yeah, so I would say let's not call them the B team, right? That was more like the C or the D team, right? So, that's true. But I think when I play USA basketball as an 18-year-old, that was, and you listen to the people in charge talk, that was always the issue, getting guys to care in non-Olympic years. And so they've tried to, make the FIBA World Cup more important, which it is. It's a pretty big event now. But at the end of the day, the biggest NBA stars, they only care about the Olympics. You're not going to get them every other year, every odd year to give up their summer to go play more basketball, right? So I think that's the challenge USA basketball has to how do we build a team outside of the non-Olympic years to where we can still keep our dominance where it is, because they can send a B team and still win it. But you can't send the C, like you said, the other teams have caught up enough so where you can't send the C and D guys anymore. We're not going to be that. You can't be that disrespectful anymore to these countries, like you said, who have guys who have won the MVP in the league and have teammates who play in the league as well. So I think that's the challenge for USA basketball to figure out.
Here's my problem.
I said they saying me and Daniel.
Here's my problem, though, Daniel. I understand you can't get your stars every other year. Dennis Schrader was the MVP of the tournament, man. Dennis Schrader, Daniel.
Yeah,
we can't beat Dennis Schrader. You got to come on, man. Come on, man.
Right.
Now they have an advantage in that a lot of these dudes, they're on the team every year. Like so there maybe it comes down to
continuity.
Yeah, yes. Continuity. So if you gotta play with your B and C, or as AK said, he said this is the F squad. He called him the F squad, not the B, C, D, or E squad, the F squad. All right. So if you're gonna have an F squad that you gotta roll with in the non-Olympic years, make it be the same, make it be a group of guys who's at least better than Dennis Schrader, and have them play together all the time.
I think those guys were from a talent perspective, it's just like Devin made a great point about continuity. Like it's one of those things where, those guys may be great individuals, but can we get them to come in and execute a defensive scheme, like you said, that takes a little bit of connectivity, or offensive scheme that takes some synergy to play against, like you said, Germany, who's going to have the same team pretty much for every tournament, or whoever, these other teams, Serbia, whoever's good, they're going to have pretty much the same 10, 11 guys every tournament. So that's a great point. You have to, even if it's the G unit, like he just said, you have to, like, I don't know if like you say, you have to keep that whether it's more practices or you get them in early, which is going to be hard to do because of NBA guys. So it's a conundrum they have to figure out.
Hey, but Sam, to your back to your original question, I think Brown is definitely going to get the band together. And it's going to get ugly. I think it's going to get real ugly. Yeah. Because, I think it starts with the dude from the track kid, the dude that, he's talking crazy. Oh, you can't be the world champion. Man, shut up. We know that we ain't the world champion, but ain't nobody in the world that can beat the NBA champion. You know what I mean? Like,
it's about no allows right there, right?
I'm trying to be so dang on literal, right? Yeah, no allows. So I think the way he attacked the NBA, like, is really what got this kind of stirred up. Then we don't meddle. And Brown, like, hold on, dog. I'm still and not quite at the top of my superpowers, but come on, man. Like, nobody out there can deal with us if we put the band together. And so I think he's going to do that just to show how superior we still are as a country. And no allow just got to chill, man. You got to chill.
LeBron doesn't even have to play. He just show up like Captain America, holding the flag, and send all his Avengers out, and KD and Steph Curry and the rest of them, and they'll bring gold home. And
ain't nobody in the world stopping KD from getting to his spot and doing his thing. It's over.
Yeah, man. You give me Steph, give me Devin Booker, give me Jason Tatum, right? Give me the dudes in the NBA right now, and that squad should still be to get up at the same time. Like I said, if you got to send the G unit over, just make sure the G unit is the same, got the same crew the whole way through. Yeah. Just don't change them up. They should be able to. Okay, somebody said, I apologize for not saying Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, you was butchering his name, but I didn't want to use on a roll, so I'll let you have it.
But it's kind of my point. I mean,
Schroeder.
My point is, he's not good enough for me to know his name. That's my point.
Like, hey, hold on now, Sam. He had himself MVP. In 1 year, he went from no contract to MVP of the FIBA and a new contract with the Raptors. This man turned his life around now. He fumbled the bag. Remember, he tried to go
sure
get that bigger contract, and then he
fumbled the
didn't
bag
put
for
this
Mel
on. He can hoop. He can hoop.
He fumbled the bag. Hey, you talking about not knowing your work, man? He was like, he
there
wanted
you
that big
go.
contract. They was like, hey, go see if you can get that.
That's your second example of a dude who fumbled $80 million right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he
right
sure
there.
did. He sure did.
Yes, he did.
He ended up playing league minimum, didn't he?
So that minimum close up to like $5 million a year. He was offered 4 years, $80 million.
Yeah, he.
But now he got his
bag.
bag back.
And that dude was the MVP. Think about that for a second. You made that dude the MVP. The dude who fumbled $80 million. Come on, man.
Hey, Dennis Schroeder can ball. I'll give him his credit, though. He can ball,
He can hoop, man.
Yeah, he can hoop, man. I can't give him his credit. But as you said, he shouldn't dominate a game full of what's supposedly the best of our best.
Can he beat up on average players? Sure. He's one of the best players in the world. So don't get me wrong. I'm not comparing him to average Joes.
Yeah.
I'm comparing him to NBA guys.
Yeah.
And compared to, the guys that he was competing against, profiling the NBA wise, he's not on their level, and yet their team won. Yes. Continuity has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Continuity has a lot to
do
with it.
With them being NBA players and all those teams having more and more NBA players, they're facing some of the same challenges the USA team has as well, as far as getting those guys together outside of, when they're getting paid to play. So it's like they're starting to face some of the same challenges. So we're going to have to figure it out pretty quickly.
I say get me and Daniel out there, man.
So you can hoop.
I'm coaching. My knees won't hold up.
I didn't know you did. I know you played a little receiver and little DB. I saw you play DB. Who was that? You covered.
Sam, you ain't never come to my basketball games in high school?
I never caught that, man.
That's crazy. Even Jim Tressel came to a basketball game in high school. Him and Rich Rod came at the same time. Coach Carter had to sit him across the little Inkster High. Yeah, what? We was 24-2 when I was a junior, man. We lost to Breslin, though,
Well, DG, I was looking out for you because I know, knees. Once you cross 30, man, the knees start to go.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to make sure because you had a whirlwind weekend. You had the game Friday, Maryland. Who did they play? Maryland, Virginia.
Yeah.
Right. Then Saturday you had 2 games, and then you flew back for the Michigan game. Right.
Yeah.
Flew back for the Michigan game, and I wanted to make sure you got home. Right. You didn't have a whole lot of struggle and strife to try to make it home. So we got our friends at Golden Limo. If you aren't familiar with Golden Limo, another one of our great sponsors here on Steady Dropping Dimes, it is an experience that you can now speak to, can't you, Mr. Gardner?
Well, I can speak to that. I'm going to tell you, this is the way you describe it. It was golden, is what I'm saying, right? I mean, you just don't appreciate, you don't know how much you hate driving until you ride in a golden type atmosphere, right? Where you ain't got to do nothing. Just the car, get in that thing, seat way up. I'm 6'4", right? I need like my leg room and everything. And we just chilling. What music do you want? Do you need the temperature down? No, I'm good, brother. I am good. You know what I mean? It was outstanding, lacking nothing. A good conversation, or if you don't want conversation, right? Whatever you need, it provides. And most importantly, a nice, safe, smooth ride. I felt like I looked at my phone. I looked up. I'm here. Oh, wait, how we get here? Did we teleport? It was wild.
Right. Yeah, that was my man Willie picking me up to take me to the first game of the season. And so it's a different experience altogether. Definitely the way to characterize it. When you ride with Golden, it is an experience. That's why the Michigan football team rides on Golden. As I was going to the game last week, couldn't get to Golden to the game last week. My wife took me, but we had to hold up because the Golden buses, it's like a caravan of buses taking the Michigan football team to the game from the hotel.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, that's how the Michigan athletics gets down. Certainly how we in, and we're going to have to get Daniel in on Golden as well, whether you're making the airport transport, anywhere you're going home, for instance, or going to the game, to and from the game. Golden will get you there, and will get you there safely. And this is them taking me to the Victor's Lounge. So that was a really, really cool, second to none when it comes to luxury, safety, care, knowledge, and experience. You get it all when you ride on Golden. You can find out more and get your transport by going to goldenlimo.com. And the main thing, we got to get Sean Duvall on, the guy who started it at Golden, because really, at the end of the day, the reason why I ride on Golden is because of him. I got with my friends at Destination Ann Arbor through all the great work that he does in the community. I talked about it last week. You know, whether it was working with the folks over at Ipsy High for all the things they need, you know, getting involved in the community, for all kinds of drives and initiatives on every board here in the community. You find Sean Duvall and Golden Limo really, really being behind it. So that's another thing that really sets them apart. You feel like you support them, you're supporting this community, and it's because of him that they're like that. So, Daniel, we got to get you on Golden, man.
Sam, I thought when you got out of that car, you had your backpack on that one strap. You know, you be one strap in the backpack. I said, I know Sam don't still got his backpack on, because Golden takes your bags. He takes your bags. And by the way, you ain't touching no doors with Golden. You are not touching no door. I tried. He said, don't you touch that door. I got you. I'm gonna come on around, and I said, okay, my brother, my bad. But I thought for sure you had that backpack on. I was just saying, take the backpack off, okay?
Okay. AK said, an old man named Willie the ascot hat. I know that ride was smooth. You're absolutely right, AK. It was very smooth. Willie gave me it was an outstanding ride. Outstanding conversation as well. So, listen, folks. We'll be back next week with another episode. This is the time. It'll be every week from 3 to 4 p.m. And I try to tell people, a guy came at me in the comments. I didn't even tell Devin about this. I was talking a whole separate video talking with an attorney about the Michigan State case. It was like it said in the description of the video, this is an attorney weighing in on what kind of case Mel Tucker might have. So a guy came in the comments and said, man, I hate just no more politics, Sam. What are you talking about? I listened to your show. What show? Steady dropping dives? Like, you thought that was a pot? Come on, man. He's like, I only want to hear Michigan. Well, hey, that's not what we do on this show.
Sam, you need to learn how to block people better. You do. I'm sorry. You want me to help you? Because you know my block list is plentiful. You know what I mean? I would. You want me to show you how many people today?
Hey.
The block list is lacking nothing.
See, Devin, you hit block on things. See, first of all, I'll go back and forth with you when I have time.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't have time, what the most I'll do is hit mute. Because, see, when you block them, Devin, you got to understand that's like a badge of honor. When you block them,
they feel special.
Right.
Hey, I got a lot of special people in mine.
But my point in bringing it up
I'm still going.
Was to make clear what this show is about. We got plenty of Michigan shows. This is the show where we get to talk about all sports, all the hottest topics in sports and culture. Because I'm telling you right now, get ready. I'm getting Rakim on this show.
Hey.
Like for years, my man Derek Kearney has been saying, Sam, you want to come see Rakim? You want to come meet Rakim? You want to get Rakim on your show? And I'm like, man, I just don't. What format do I have where I could get Rakim on the show? Now we got it. So we're going to get celebrities on this show. I know Devin knows plenty of celebrities. Devin, can you get Devin? Can you get Reggie Bush? Can you get Reggie Bush on the show, Devin?
Man, why you always taking shots at Reggie Bush, man? Reggie Bush is at home with his family. I mean, you know, he ain't busy right now, but
DG, did you really do this? Hold up. DG, did you do this to Omar?
DG
Omar says you blocked him because he said he
No, I wouldn't do that. I think that's a good one. He got blocked for something else, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. You've seen how many people I blocked. I don't know why I blocked him, but I'm sure it wasn't because of no Coming to America thing. It was because he was probably talking crazy. That's what I'm talking about. But remember, we said we got block protection that you can purchase via Venmo.
You can buy your way off the block list.
Oh, man. Reggie don't got me blocked. Reggie got Sam blocked for sure.
Hey, listen, Reggie Bush, I just wanted the man. I felt like he was blocking the blessing for Devin Gardner a little bit. I did, because just do a little bit of prep. Like, fellas, I told you guys, I said we got together, we had a group chat. say, what are we going to talk about today? Reggie just show up. he just showed up to the desk, say, hey, who played this week? It's like, come on, man.
What's on the docket? Hey man,
Like,
you are a cruel individual, man.
I'm not. All right, folks. So the reason why I brought it up again was to let you know this show, we talk about the hottest topics in sports, all sports, pro, NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball, other sports. We talk about it all. And that's how we're going to get down. This is our opportunity to bring those opinions on those topics to you. And of course, talk about our love for Ann Arbor as well. That's going to be a real special part of what we do. As we get deeper into it, we're going to be going out and about around town in Ann Arbor, going to some of the favorite places that we have, seeing some of the favorite people, places, and things, some of our favorite people, places, and things in Ann Arbor, and bringing them to you as part of this show, courtesy of our great presenting sponsor, Destination Ann Arbor. Until the next time, folks, thanks for watching another edition of Steady Dropping Dimes. We'll see you next week.